The third is to cultivate desire and passion, and to really feel for what gets the furnace going within you, to really feel for what just gives you that oomph, that desire, that drive, that hunger, all of those things that just bring you into a state of heightened thrill and joy and bliss and expansiveness. And to be able to take that, and once you figure out what it is that you love, because so many of these can also hinge on this as well. Once you figure out what you have a passion for, what you have a desire for, we all have things we want to gravitate towards. So again, if you're struggling a little bit with this as well, then I say start trying those things. Take the things that you love. You can work on them one at a time. You can find ways of implementing them and putting them all together. And once you have established what drives you, what you're passionate about, what you feel strongly about, whether it's an activity, whether it's achieving something out there, whether it's building or creating or writing or recording music, whatever it may be, you take that and you work with that information and you find your purpose in that. You figure out and identify what it is that drives you, what it is that excites you, what it is that ignites everything that you feel strongly about. And within that, then you work from there to establish your purpose. That is, if you're having problems in finding what your purpose is. Because sometimes to go in reverse order on a few of these is okay, because they overlap a lot with one another. And I call this step cultivating desire and passion, because again, if you're still not sure about exactly what you call your passion, then you need to cultivate that. It's important to cultivate it. And by cultivating it, you try it, you work with it. It doesn't mean you have to invest a ton of time. It doesn't mean you have to invest a lot of resources, but just give it a shot, a little bit at a time, and just really feel and try different things and see if there's a way to bring several of those different things you're passionate about together. Once you have been able to do that and identify your passion and your desire and get out there and try some different things, then figure out what your purpose is within that. Once I was able to channel my desire and passion into my website, for example, I was able to identify my purpose in that. And it literally happened in that way as I was building my other website, the one that I referenced in my last podcast, seasonofshadows.com. I knew what I wanted to bring in. I knew the things that I love to do. And from there, I kind of worked reverse. I worked out to figure out, well, what is my purpose going to be within this website? How am I going to be able to take these things I love and actually have a driving force that's even underneath the desire, even underneath the passion? What is going to be my primary purpose in what I'm doing with my website? And the way I did that was I started exploring sentence structures. Actually, we're back to journaling a little bit here. But I think when you journal something as important as your purpose, you can glance back at it. It'll be a reminder, because it'll always be what carries you from this moment of now to the next moment of now. Here's just an example. I'm going to read, and this is exactly the way I wrote it. I'm going to read it out of my notebook, the way I put it down several months ago. John Wolfe's purpose in life is to empower, explore, inspire, and even entertain people from all walks of life. While that may sound kind of basic, I feel those are exactly the things that I'm doing on both of my websites, both here at Wind of the Soul and over at Season of Shadows. And whenever I have moments of doubt that creep in, I go back to step one and I think about my power that resides in this awareness of now. And as I think about my life experience in this now moment, I then identify back with my desire and my passion, which in turn brings me to my purpose. And all of that is empowering me in this now moment. Take some time, if you're working on identifying your purpose, and think of it in terms of what you're passionate about, what you enjoy doing, what you love to do, what really drives you. And write it down if need be. Write down what you feel your purpose is. If it's to do something like what I'm doing, then write that down. Put it on paper. State it as a matter of fact. If it's to do something slightly different than what I'm doing, that's fine. It doesn't have to be empowering. It doesn't have to be something that's inspiring. You can use different verbs. You can use renewing. You can use strengthening, supporting, organizing, discovering, creating, communicating. Take your passion, write your name down, think of your passion as what drives you, and write down the action through that passion as you visualize it, what you can do to be able to make it come into a purpose, into something that is solid, that can be able to be purposeful for you, that's strong enough that it will carry you to the next moment of now and the next moment of now. One thing I would like to say about desire and passion is that this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, about taking physical action. There's going to be some things that are about emotion and thought and the mind, and there's going to be some things that are about action that are involved in the deliberate creation of our experience. And the rubber meeting the road is where we take action to cultivate that desire and that passion. We really work through things and feel for things to be able to find out if this is something we're passionate about, if it's passionate enough and our purpose is strong enough within it, as I said, that we will be able to be present and presently aware of what we're doing through those techniques, through those feelings, and through the action to carry us on and carry us forward. Number 4 ties right back to purpose, and it can also tie into desire and passion. And number 4 is channel your pursuits in a manner which provide benefit to others, which is exactly what I was talking about in my purpose statement. This is sort of the giving back portion of my 5 elements. And the giving back is if we can find a way to, whatever it is that we're doing out there that provides benefit to other people, then that makes it so much more worthwhile. Not only worthwhile, but it also makes it, I feel, in alignment with the expansion of the universe, in alignment with what we're doing here. While the primary reason we're here may not be to serve others, I feel that if we are serving ourselves by following our desire, our passion, and our purpose, then we are providing an example, which is all the better for others out there to be able to see how we are following what we care about in life. And in that, if we can take it a step further and be able to provide something that helps other people, then it makes it that much stronger. It makes it that much more of a worthwhile experience. Now, some people may be wondering, okay, how is what I'm doing beneficial? No matter what you do out there, if you're following your passion and if you have a purpose identified within that, you're not going to have a hard time figuring out a way that what you're doing is beneficial to others. It's going to really pop in a way that is going to it's just going to be obvious. It's going to be extremely obvious because you're going to have certain routes and certain things that you can do and take that may be just slightly adjacent to what you're doing. They might not be mainstream right there in the midst of what you're working on, but it's going to be right next to it. It's going to be beneficial. And then sometimes it may be right in the middle of what you're doing and what you're creating. There's always ways to provide benefit. It doesn't have to be extremely life-changing to somebody else, but it just, as long as it makes a difference in that person's life, some way, shape, or form. And I believe that every single career, every single aspect of industry that's out there, if they would work more on identifying how they could benefit other people in what they're doing instead of strictly being about the bottom line, instead of strictly being about their own benefit, which again, there's nothing wrong with selfishness, I think, to a certain extent, because if we aren't selfish enough to care about our own happiness and our own joy, we don't really have anything to provide other people. However, within that, we still have to go back to the basic teachings, mystical teachings, the basic teachings in quantum physics, that we are all entangled and we are all connected and we are all stemming from that one conscious awareness. So what we do to others, we are doing to ourselves, and we have to still be able to grasp that and understand that information. And I think that's why it's important to channel what we're doing, what we love, in a manner that's beneficial to others. It's not hard. I don't believe it's difficult at all once you are following your passion and you've identified your purpose within that passion. And the 5th element actually has 2 parts. The first part is to maintain consistent direction, and the second part is to get out of the way as much as possible, out of your own way. And to explain how both of those parts work together, once you have established what you're passionate about and you've cultivated that, and you have that desire, that burning desire there, and you know your purpose within that, and between those, the desire, the passion, the purpose, that will sustain you. It will carry you in the direction that you're going with whatever this pursuit is. As you continue to take that moment of now and expand it into the next and the next and the next, and you fuel that with your desire, your passion, and your purpose, you begin to know beyond belief that what you want is on its way.